Oh, I've not done Grisaia in a while. Probably not going to remember the voices for it. But it's fine. Sort this out. You. Aha. This one is I'll face myself. It's Persona 4, I think. Yeah, Persona 4. Anyway, enough of that. Sound. So where were we? God, we've not played this in a while. So I think we were telling Machina a story of some sort. Anyway, corporate banquets are basically a cruel kind of talent show. New employees are expected to perform some skill for the amusement of the gathered VIPs. It's a bit loud, isn't it? Shut up. There we go. The newbies from each department mount to the stage after one after the other. Quite a few croaked out popular karaoke ballads with stiff faces. There are also some pretty competent juggling acts. In one stand-up comedy duo, which got some last year doing imitations of superiors. The man watched the other acts with a fluttering heart. His turn was approaching fast, but he's basically a walking, breathing lump of artistic incompetence. An asocial type without a single talent worth performing in front of others. Just as he was wondering whether he could escape by pretending a sudden illness, the man was practically kicked out onto the stage by the senior employees. For lack of a better thought, he started to sing. But the man didn't know any popular songs. Worse, he couldn't remember any of the standard folk songs or children's music that might have worked in a pinch. The man went with a theme song from a superhero TV show, Lightspeed General Damakharov, which he loved as a kid. By this point, he couldn't help but feel a growing sense of despair. This was, of course, the man's first time singing in public, and he didn't have much of a voice. Within moments, he was shouting jeers from the audience. The hell are you singing? What's with you? Hey asshole, are you just making that up on the spot? That's enough, get off the stage, you suck. Though he wasn't the type to break down in tears, the man felt a deep urge to dig himself a hole and crawl into it. I know that feeling. Only sheer stubbornness carried him through to the last humiliating note. When it was over, the man quickly bowed from the stage and raced back to his seat. Oh, I get that. When I walked back from the stage, the man had a thought. I wish I'd learned a popular song or two. So if he'd been singing karaoke as a hobby, he wouldn't have got embarrassed? Well, if you look at it that way, you're right, but the story isn't over yet. With the equipment test wrapped up, the man had returned with his new assignment at a branch office in Shizuoka. Someone called out to him as he was dealing with the transfer paperwork. So you were the newbie who sang Damakharov at the banquet in Gifu. The man's breath caught in his throat. He figured out by now that the main job of his superiors was to flaunt their authority by picking at the smallest mistakes, and then rubbing his nose in them. And the manager speaking to him was infamous for his zealous leadership of his underlings. Frankly, the man was ready to piss his pants. He swallowed and chewed his lip, bitter thoughts running through his head. What's he going to blame on me? How long will I have to grovel? The manager's words took him by surprise. I loved that show when I was a kid. The man blinked, dumbfounded by this unexpected development. You from Hiroshima, kid? Yeah, it's a series mix-up, yeah. According to the manager, Damakharov reruns were played relentlessly every weekday afternoon on the local station. In other words, practically every child in Hiroshima grew up watching that show. The man wasn't a Hiroshima native. In the area he lived in as a child, the children's Encore theatre programme would broadcast old episodes of the show every summer. He just happened to have seen a few. Even so, the manager must have been really pleased to find a fellow Damakharov fan as he began to pull a few strings to the man's benefit. One night after work, the man returned to his bed in the company dorm to find that a white plastic bag had been tucked underneath the sheets on his neatly made bed. He didn't remember putting it there himself, and when he asked around, nobody else had anyone else had any idea where it came from. The bag contained a huge jelly roll and a cup of instant ramen. As a new employee, the man had to eat dinner at a set time of 5 PM. By 10 PM, lights out time at the dorm, all of the trainees would be starving. This supplemental meal was therefore a very considerate present. The man had an idea who was responsible. Most likely his Dharmakarov buddy at the top was the only one who could have pulled it off. On top of the early dinner time, learning the ropes as a trainee is particularly tiring. His Dharmakarov buddy had probably figured he'd had a hard time getting his young body to fall asleep on an empty stomach. The man actually didn't have a particularly big appetite, and wasn't the type to be troubled by irregular meals. And again, the new employee didn't have much money he could spend freely on snacks and such. A little sugar was extremely welcome. If I get caught, they'll get punished too. So the man split the smuggled food with the other trainees in his room, and they all devoured their shares greedily. His presents from his Dharmakarov buddy, at the time they were known as a Dharmakarov supply drop, continued. The talentless, quiet and hobbyless triple threat contender for the asocial crowd suddenly found himself getting along with a group in the dorm, all thanks to the Dharmakarov connection. 3 months later, when the man's training period came to an end, once again his Dharmakarov buddy, whose recommendation got him assigned to the Chiba branch office he'd hoped for. So in other words, when it comes to hobbies and interests, anything's fine. Finding friends you can talk about some common interests with is a really valuable thing. Sometimes something that's small can be the trigger for gaining a huge leg up in life. That's the moral of the story. I don't really get it, but Dharmakarov kind of sounds like Damacaroon. I'm hungry. Well, this is a pretty meaningful story. I guess I didn't quite get it across. Basically you're saying I should try stuff out and expand my interest instead of playing dolls or wandering around by myself all the time? Well, more or less. When you're young, you should mess around with all sorts of things. Try to find something that grabs you, even if it's stupid crap. How about you, Oni-chan? Anything got a hold on you right now? After all, spacing out, that's a pretty sharp question. Glance down toward the pile of borrowed books I'm holding in my hand. I suppose right now I don't have anything other than reading that qualifies. I want a jelly roll! You don't really listen to a word I say, are you? Well, not to say that you need to. But the word jelly roll in the story just now got me jonesing something fierce. Oh, and the macaroon man too. Go get Amane to make something. An excellent suggestion, Nani-chan. Come to Amane's room later, okay? Let's have snacks together. Yeah, if I'm in the mood. Okay then, see ya. I see. I learned my own lesson from this conversation. If there's a mention of food in the middle of a story, Makina won't remember another word. I'll have to be more careful next time. During my middle school days in America, I got a number of strange nicknames from my classmates. Mainly because none of them could be bothered to remember a Japanese name. On the predictable side, there was Jap and Shorty. My family name Kazami got abbreviated to KZ as well. However, among my numerous nicknames, the only one that stuck through basic training was Gar. Shove a garbage eater. It's not that I had a reputation for dumpster diving, it was just a reference to my tolerance for shitty food. As to how I earned it, the story's very simple. The KP made us slop unfit for pigs, and I ate it without grimacing. Freeze-dried scrambled eggs, pork and beans made from scraps of ham, bread with peanut butter, and ridiculously stringy mystery meat were the staples. Every one of them had a weird chemical aftertaste, and they were all disgusting. We even had it the secret sauce was gasoline. As for the chocolate cake we got for dessert, it's more commonly and accurately described as a desert. That cake was legendary for being inedible. No matter how starved you were, it would end up stuck in your throat as a dry lump. But I ate it, and all the rest without complaining. Probably because I was living rough from a young age. I've never been what you'd call a picky eater. To put it simply, as long as my belly was full and my body was getting what it needed, the taste wasn't a concern. So even those 3 torturous meals a day didn't inspire any serious complaints from me, but the people around me must have thought I was some sort of freak. And after a while, my nickname became Garbage Eater, and eventually just Gar. Hey Gar, just how shitty a cook was your mum? I had a set response to this one. My mum didn't cook much, she was too busy screwing your dad's brains out. Ugh. As far as my jokes go, I thought it was kind of witty, but that line didn't get that many laughs. Guess my delivery was a bit too stony. Well then, what should I do for dinner? I don't particularly feel a desire to eat, but if you don't take meals at 3 regular times a day, it throws off your body's clock and leaves you more susceptible to fatigue. Does it? Huh. To tell the truth, I view meals as nothing more than an element of maintaining my physical condition. As long as I'm getting sufficient nourishment, I'm not that caught up on what I eat. Or when or what I eat. There you go. When I spend any effort considering things like that, all I end up thinking about is how much of a pain in the ass it is going to be oh my god, I can't read. When I spend any effort considering things like that, all I end up thinking about is how much of a pain in the ass it's going to be to make something. And eventually, the act of eating itself starts to feel like a nuisance. My normal pattern is just to throw something together from my supply of canned and dried food. Yay. Yuji-kun, are you around? Huh? You're here after all? Well, this is my room. How many barged in like she owns the place? No longer even bothering to knock, but I'm already getting used to it, I guess. Well, because I've experienced a lot of emergency summons. Didn't get to me that much in the first place. I told you to come up to my room at 7 for dinner, you know. Why didn't you show up? You kept Maka and me waiting in front of the food. As she speaks out, Amity's holding a plate piled with crab legs in her hands. Didn't I say you should come and help us eat the crabs I got from home? I do recall such an event. I also recall responding if I'm in the mood. Not that I'd definitely be there. Yes, but I said that you and Makina should go ahead and eat if I didn't show up on time. What? Do you hate crab or something? Not really. I know, it's too much of a pain to peel off the shell, right? Makina says the same thing, but no, that she won't gobble them down if I do it for her. Of course, after I cracked it all open for her, she started yelling about a new invention, the crab croissant, and wrapping it in pieces of bread. The girl just doesn't understand the value of things. After all, she finishes off by telling me, fish tastes yummier. So rude. Probably that just means that Makina places more importance on how easy it is to eat. Honestly, I think I'd go for crab paste over crab myself. Why is Amine acting like my mum? What the heck? You children disappoint me. There's lots of boys and girls in this world who can't even eat even if they want to, you know? That's certainly true. If you understand, then stop complaining and eat up. I'll peel it for you. Look, I wasn't really complaining. I can take care of the shell on my own. In the first place, just what were you going to eat if I didn't show up? Oh, you cooked some rice? How long ago? It's all stiff. Hey, hands off. Amine's wandered off into my kitchen and is now examining things as she pleases. After confirming the contents of my mess kit cooker, she opens the door to my refrigerator and starts taking stock of my supplies. Half-empty canned food, fish sticks and mayonnaise, lettuce and spinach. What's this thing? Canned pickled radish? Where the heck did you even buy this? More importantly, how long has it been open? I'm doing lunch, get off my back. Why is it that this feels strangely embarrassing? It's not like I have anything troublesome in the fridge. In the first place, why she get off calling canned radish this thing? It's well known among canned food connoisseurs as almost decent and pretty much edible. Is this woman looking down on the brave men and women who have gained courage from canned food throughout the years? As I silently burn with righteous indignation, Amine brazenly starts running tap water into my rice cooker. Hey, what do you think you're doing? Huh? The rice is all hard, so I'm giving it some moisture. I don't care if it's hard. Not because I'm used to eating canned stuff that comes out arid and stiff as a wax candle. I'm pretty tolerant of tough food. Eggs. You've only got 2, mind if I use them both? I don't care, but what are you planning? I'm gonna make you crab fried rice. You just sit there and be patient. I suppose pretty much anyone can handle fried rice, especially for a woman. The somewhat prejudiced assumption is that you'll have a basic skill like that. Fact is, out of all the women I've met so far, the only one who couldn't make edible fried rice is my master. Yeah, I'm not doing that, she can do it herself. Still, I can't quite hide a certain anxiety. Not that Amine's paying any attention, coming to herself, she cracks open the eggs. After shaking salt and pepper onto the eggs, she mixes in lightly rinsed rice. And adds a bit of crab meat, only about half what she brought, and finally chopped radish. She heats a frying pan coated with mayonnaise rather than oil, adds the lettuce and spinach she plundered from my fridge, and throws in the rice mixture according to her own timing. Sticking the back of a ladle into the mix, she vigorously classes it around the frying pan, messily stir-frying the food. When Amine decides it's done, she uses the bowl as a mould to form the fried rice into a perfect hemisphere, and tosses it into the plate. This doesn't look out of place in a Chinese restaurant. And the finishing touch. Dressing the leftover crab meat with mustard and mayo, she drops it with a thud on top of the heap of fried rice on the plate. Okay, sorry to keep you waiting. So she says, but it hasn't even been 10 minutes since Amine started to cook. Imposing a pile of steaming fried rice on my plate looks pretty damn impressive for something cobbled together out of leftovers, and in such short time. By the way, don't you have a bigger table or something? You don't seem to have many plates either. Should I bring a few next time? Not necessary, I've got what I need. The table's a small coffee table, the one that's actually dragged out of the storeroom as a stopgap measure. The frying pan and what table I have, things I picked out carelessly at a local 100 yen hardware stores. Since I'm living alone, it's all perfectly adequate. No point in getting more dishes when I'm the only one eating off. It just means more things to wash. True, I guess you don't seem to be backed up on the dishes at least. Noticing something as she speaks, Amine returns to the kitchen and starts to rustle through a plastic bag in the corner. Is this garbage? Can I throw it out? Yeah. I've been throwing my empty oolong tea bottles in that bag, and before I knew it, it had something of a pile, but I was uncertain about the time to throw them out. Tomorrow's recycling day, so I'll take it out of mine. With well-practiced movements, she peels off the labels, removes the caps, and skillfully cuts off the plastic rings with the tip of the kitchen knife. Finally, she lightly rinses the bottles themselves with tap water. Judging from the smooth motion of her hands, she's repeated this often enough to gain the mastery of an assembly line worker. Clearly, she's something of an eco-friendly woman. Okay, go back to my room. When you're done, make sure to set the plate in the sink, okay? I can wash it later. I can take care of that much myself. Sorry for the hassle. Not a problem, man. You need to show off my talents in this department, or you get the idea I'm just a horny big sister roleplayer. A quick goodbye, Harmony heads out of the room, not waiting for my impressions of the crab fried rice. I had the idea that a busybody woman like her would be more likely to hang over my shoulder pestering me for compliments, but she just popped in all of a sudden, cut for me in a flash, and then left just as quickly. I've been the influence of dealing with that whimsical machina all the time. Let's eat. Fortunately, I don't have a Chinese spoon in this room, so I'll have to make do with the standard Western variety. I jab my spoon into the mountain of steaming fried rice and quickly throw some into my mouth. Not bad at all. Even someone as disinterested in food as me can tell when something tastes good. Salt seasoning feels a bit thin, but this is probably how it should be if you're thinking about healthy sodium intake. It would be insulting to compare this to the crap my master made. It's also different from the stuff you get at a high-priced Chinese restaurant. Tastes like your standard fried rice. What's with this flavour? As I've known my mother as a child, I remember eating fried rice that tasted like this. After finishing her day job, my mother would make me dinner before her night shift started. The last week of the month before her paychecks came in, it would often be a pretty plain meal of fried rice. All she could put on the table was fried rice with a bit of pink fish paste added. She'd apologise as I ate. I'm sorry, this is all we've got. Unlike the fried rice Amine just made, there was never anything extravagant, like crab thrown in, and Amine's cooking skills seemed to be better as well. So why is it that they taste similar? Where's this slight melancholy coming from? Well, it doesn't matter as long as it's good. Hey Loxy, how you doing? When I was a kid, anything I ate tasted good. This part of me hasn't changed too much. It's very dangerous to jump to conclusions about someone. When you make a judgment without sufficient information, you're going to be at least slightly off. If that's an over or an underestimation, it clouds your perception and often comes back to bite you in the end. My employer is exactly the sort of organisation that lives and dies by gathering accurate intelligence. And I heard a lot about its importance from my acid-tongue master as well. Therefore, I make a conscious effort not to label others prematurely. There's Michiru. Sour! You're so sour! That said, every time this Mashishima Michiru girl enters my field of vision, I find myself dying to stick exactly such a mental label on her. Yo, Michiru. Yuji! I've been standing here in front of you for a while now. Why are you acting like you just noticed? Give me a break here. I was concentrating. You didn't even register. I didn't even see you. It was poor visibility conditions. Got it? I see. Understood. What a lack of awareness might cost you your life someday. Please make sure to look both ways for cars before you cross the road. Shut up, stupid. I offered an appropriate warning given your actions. Why the verbal abuse? Shut up, shut up, shut up! Go away, go away, you jerk! Ow. I thought you slapped me. Michiru vigorously throws the empty paper carton she was holding at me. Flying into a fit of rage just because someone tells you something you don't want to hear isn't a good habit. I hope you go sour. Go sour right now, jerk! I don't have a foothold in this conversation. I pick up the garbage Michiru hurled at me and temporarily withdraw from the scene. 100% vitamin C drink? Read out the description printed on the carton. I tilt my head in bemusement. I've seen plenty of 100% fruit juice drinks, but this is a new one. The parent company of this manufacturer is the Pharmaceutical Corporation. Maybe it's some sort of undiluted vitamin solution used in beauty products. Or maybe it's Or maybe it's not meant literally, and they're just exaggerating to play up the fact that it's packed full of the stuff. Either way, it's a soft drink that emphasises its vitamin C content above all else. Which means it's probably incredibly sour and acidic. It must be torture to drink unless you've got a pretty strong tolerance for that sort of thing. So why was she drinking this stuff? Look at her face, I think it was out of the fondness of the taste. Some kind of self-flagellation, maybe? Hey, Saki. Why are you here? Interrupting my thoughts, Saki stares at me suspiciously. Oh, if it isn't human. For the moment, can I confirm if that was intended to be some sort of nickname for me? Calm down, if you lose your sense of humour, you won't be able to live a fun life. I'm not particularly looking to live a fun life. I see, in that case, it wasn't a nickname. Slip of the tongue. Happy now? You're truly an aggravating human being. Aggravating as I may be, Sakaki nonetheless approaches me. What's that in your hand? This is an empty soft drink carton. That blonde girl was drinking earlier. Did you have it? Why? Please don't tell me you enjoy collecting that sort of thing. Is collecting this sort of thing as evil a hobby as that scowl implies? I'm interested. Please explain in detail. Why don't you look it up online if you're so curious? For the reason Sakaki is trembling with anger. Seems to still can't anticipate what will trigger this woman's wrath. To return to the subject, that's the one that Matsushima-san is always drinking while making that terrible face. Right, I wanted to ask about that. Why is she drinking something she so plainly hates? Did she lose a bet? Is she being bullied? Is she placed under a malevolent spell? There's really no middle ground in your thinking, is there? Alright, so correct me. I don't have an answer either. I haven't gotten too involved with the girl. In the first place, she's just a classmate, so I don't have any particular interest in her. And yeah, I'm pretty sure you know this is Michiru's carton before you asked. Does mocking people like this come naturally to you, or do you save it specifically for me? I was just trying to explore an apparent logical inconsistency. The wrinkles in Sakaki's forehead grow deeper and the glare sharper. Apparently there are some logical inconsistencies best left unexplored when she's around. Specifically, those concerning her contrary personality. The girl does eat a lot of sweets and such. Maybe she's just interested in a variety of tastes. Tastes? When you mention it, it seems like she's always carrying these Ramoon candies around. My, you're a fairly observant one yourself. Does Matsushima-san interest you? Are you interested in knowing whether I'm interested in Michiru? Oh. I'm making a mental note not to talk too much around you. Goodbye. With an extremely displeased expression, Yumiko leaves the roof. Sure are a lot of troublesome girls in this place. Spend a little time sharing a dorm with them, it's pretty obvious that everyone in this place has a few screws loose and probably a few skeletons in the closet as well. Amane and Sakaki aren't easy to deal with in the first place, and it seems to be more so than they're letting on. Same is probably true of Makina Sachi. That said, when it comes to that bottle blonde girl, no matter how many times I try to look below the surface, I keep hitting rock bottom straight away. If she's got any hidden depths, they're very well hidden. In other words, I've got a persistent suspicion that she's an idiot. Aww, poor Michiru. Still, it's too early to label her. I should buy my time and get a better idea of her personality before reaching any conclusions. But seriously now, Hello. Person. Okay. What are you doing?
Ah, you again? What are you spying on me for?
Oh, spying on you, just happen to be here, leaving that aside. You drawing the character for person on your hand. It's a pretty stale superstition.
What's it to you? This works wonders for heartburn and indigestion. Mind your own business.
Heartburn and indigestion?
That's right, just draw the character on your hand and pretend to eat it. Bam! You're cured. It's an amazing magic spell. I'll let you imitate it if you ask nicely.
Sure, might come in handy sometime.
Don't forget to show your gratitude when that day comes.
Michiru-sama's body works in such convenient ways, I'm rather envious. I thought the drawing in your hand thing was supposed to calm you down before a big public speech or whatever. So it had to become a replacement for azulene sulfonate sodium. I'm sadly ignorant of its exact chemical composition. It's an undisputed fact that the inside of Michiru-sama's body is a land of many wonders. You're pretty cruel, Sashi. Am I? In what respect? Never mind. Ooh, she's spoiling it. Hello.
Hey, Amane, hold it!
Michiru, what's wrong?
That juice you bought for me yesterday is way past the expiration date.
No way, I checked it myself. I'm sure it was fine.
Take a look for yourself. Hey, it says May the 3rd.
A whole month? Let me see that. Michiru?
Don't worry, I'm not mad or anything. Just admit that even a perfect housewife like you slips up sometimes.
What year is it? Hold on. There we go. And you came in here accusing me of...
Gotta go make dinner, sorry to bother you, Amane. Hold it right there, you snapped at me over your own dumb mistake. How about an apology?
She ran away. Yo. Hey, Yuji-kun, are you watching? Ever since your polite greeting of "Gah" towards your classmate. After you spent enough time with that girl, that's a natural reaction. You can see where you're coming from. I'll enough of these cases together and I can't help but bring my deadline for a conclusion forward. One day, the topic of Michiru comes up when we're all gathered together. Incidentally, the person in question is already in bed.
Michiru is an alien.
Unique theory.
Sometimes she rolls a silver paper around her head and receives transmissions from space.
Not a fact.
If you keep an eye on Chirichiru, you'll see it before long.
I have no intention of taking anything Makino says seriously. The great thing is, if she says it's about Michiru, it almost feels plausible. An alien, is it? What, you haven't thought about that? I'm talking to myself, so can you please not butt in? Your mum was nothing interesting, so I was curious. Sorry, please let me hear about your delusions about Michiru the ET when you're in a better mood. Sorry if I rubbed you up the wrong way, but try to keep in mind that I don't mean anything by it. How about you try not to rub me the wrong way instead? Well, anyway, I'm just glad that the vacant head of hers doesn't put her life at risk. Sashi, stop spoiling it. Perhaps the original Michiru-sama has in fact wandered off a cliff and died. The current generation is an entirely different person. Sorry, Sachan, I think that's going a little overboard. Sachi! I suppose you're right. More plausibly, there's a good chance Michiru-sama's brains haven't yet processed the fact that she's dead. That's really 90 better. The devil lives inside Chimichurri. The devil? She's camouflaging herself with that show of idiocy, but... Once that veil's lifted, the heartless devil inside her will emerge at last and bathe the earth in our blood. What's the matter, Sakaki? Sounds like you suddenly caught your breath in fear. Did I not ask you to stop reacting to everything I do? I can do without the play-by-play commentary. He's gonna act like you never heard that. Well, from what Sachi said. I go to bed, this is getting a little frightening. Isn't it kind of cold tonight? Now that you mention it, it is a bit chilly. Better get under the covers before I catch a cold. Okay, good night everybody. Ani-chan, you just forget about Chirichu and have a nice dreams, okay? Is it really okay to just forget about her? The next morning. And we're stopping there. Yes. Idiot girl fakes some dairy. Okay. Anyway, yeah, so we'll stop here. It's good to get back in there, but I don't know I don't know how long this is going to be. I know it's going off, I think, the first series, so I'm not sure how long this will take. Because we've only just got into Michiru's arc. I think she's, like, the second one. No, she's the first one, actually, that you focus on. You focus on Michiru first. So this might take a while. Because we've got to go through Michiru, and then Sakaki, then Makina. No. Michiru, Sakaki, Sachi, Makina, Amane. And I know for a fact that Amane's going to take the longest. Anyway, yeah. So, we'll leave it there for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another one. Goodbye.